G'day again. In this video, we're going to talk about values. This is a video for you as a united team as you're going through the culture code system to create the first layer of your culture code being your values. Values are important inside of team environments. They align and unite groups of people, okay? The team together, while you are in a room now as a one united team is extremely important because you are going to create your team values together. Whether your facilitator is your coach or a team member, club member, it doesn't matter. We want your coach to be involved with the process with you, the players. We are creating your values together as a united team, okay? Your values become the foundation for all conversations about performance. Honest conversations about performance, real talk. You go back to your values whenever you possibly can to talk about performance, okay? And finally, we refer to our values once they're created when making decisions, especially difficult ones. When we're under stress, we fall back on our values, okay? So now, we're going to go through two particular exercises, okay? Now you can do them as singly or we can do them together. The two questions we're going to ask and your facilitator is going to conduct the next little section is, how would we, okay, as a team and others describe our team now? What words would we use to describe where we're currently at? And then secondly, in an ideal world, how do we want to be described? Okay, so facilitator, you can do these two together. They work really well because you start to see the gap in between the two, okay? In small groups, scribe down all the words that we are described as today and the words that we want to be described as. This is going to create what we sometimes nickname your team identity, your values, who you are and what you represent as a team. Your team values are going to end up being some form of small statement, a bit like your internal just do it statement. So it's an aspirational statement, values 3 to 5 words maximum, keep it short and sharp because we want to be able to refer to it at any given time when we're having a conversation about performance, real talk, okay? So dive into this exercise now. Answer the two questions, either singularly and then the next one, or do them together. Surface your answers, facilitator, jump in wherever you are and start to collate all of the data so that you guys can start to formulate a list of where you're at today and then chunk it down and get a bunch of values that we want to be described as, our internal just do it statement. Go for it now.
So these are the words that other teams would currently describe us as, yeah? Yes. Good, okay. So young, a couple of ticks there, proving, inexperienced, talented, inconsistent, try hard, supportive. Great. And then this is how we want to be described. Yeah. Committed, tough, fun, determined, respect, united, passionate, ever better, champions. So what's the difference? What's the gap between those two? Great, that's good. So there's certainly room for improvement. But what we need to do is we need to narrow this down to create our culture code so that it's something that's really important to us. And the way we do that is we go with for a start, we'd start off with the words that are ticked a couple of times. And from there, we'll start to work through what's really important to us. And then over the course of the next couple of hours, then we'll come up with something that means something to us that we can take forward for the rest of the year. Yeah. Great. Let's look at why we'd be described as fun or united. How do we use our values? We use our values to reward and recognise each other, and that's through our real talk. And similarly, we use them to challenge each other. So when someone's doing something that's breaching our values, then we ask them in a respectful way, is that the best way we can do it? So values are the reference point around which we conduct our conversations or our real talk. The other thing which is critical, and keep bringing the team back to it as you facilitate these conversations, is under pressure, we all go to our values. So if our values are united and disciplined, then we all are united and disciplined. We do things together and we stick to the game plan. We don't worry about the scoreboard. We just keep doing it together. And that's the purpose of the values. They align us, they unite us, they keep us all together moving in the same direction. And they provide a reference point around which we have our conversations. One of the critical things about your values and getting the team to buy into it is using the language of the values. So I love it when you do that because it's united. Well, that was really undisciplined. Can we fix that up? So using the language of the values is absolutely critical to embed them deeply within the group. And the more you use them as the facilitator and the more the athletes use them in their day-to-day conversations, the more embedded they'll become. The other thing is to have fun. So if there's an acronym that we can make out of our values, so if it's united, disciplined, and ruthless, the acronym there could be RUD or DIR. It doesn't matter, but if we can come up with something, for example, the Sydney Swans, the AFL team, use the catchphrase, the Bloods. So if there's something that's particular to your team, or if there's an acronym or a nickname that you can come up with, use it. Because again, it becomes part of your vernacular, and the more we use it, the deeper and deeper it will become to the team. And finally, it's vital that we get the signs up around the wall. So whatever our values are, they should be represented around our organisation, our change rooms, our meeting rooms, wherever we are, wherever we're going to be. Make sure that they're represented through a signage, because that will continually remind us about our values.